Coming up on the CHGO Cubs podcast, Luke is at a rally cake conference, so it's Joey and Justin today.
Yes.
That's right. Jump on in. There's more players opting in and out of their contracts, and we got report cards for Jameson Taillon. All that and more coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's a CHGO Cubs Wednesday, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Come on in. Toyota, go ahead to Toyota.com. They got 25 vehicles right now, Justin.
Ooh.
It's pretty amazing. They got the RAV4. They got Tacoma. You'll find out all about it in about 15 minutes. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Join the chat. What's up, Becky? Make sure you like this video. Subscribe to our CHGO Cubs channel. Tell a neighbor, tell a friend, tell a total stranger. Producer Sean Anderson on the controls. And Justin, look at what we have here.
Yes.
When the Luke is away, the dogs will come out to play. How you doing, man?
We're good, man. We're good. Also, right, the first thing right in the chat, Becky hitting us with a bang. I saw a post that Tucker is gone. She went just straight for the neck,
Right for the jugular
there
of
it
topics
is, you know,
today.
like starting us off. But no, I'm excited to be here. Obviously, I love when Luke is here, but you know, now we could talk more.
Yes, at long last. Luke will be back tomorrow with Jordan Burnfield, but again, Joey Christopolous, Justin Roman here in the house for today. And Becky, yeah, let's hit it, skim it right off the top. We are definitely going to get into our report cards for Jameson Taillon today. Yeah. Spring training schedule was released. We're just going to kind of pine and think about brighter and warmer days. But first, yeah, I want to get into a little news and notes going on MLB. Real quick before we get into that Kyle Tucker report, Justin, two pitchers opted into their contracts yesterday. Yes. They wanted you to get a take on. Two of them, I think, were on the Cubs' radar of possible fits. Maybe it was a previous offseason. Maybe it was a trade deadline this year. Certainly maybe heading into this offseason. But it looks like at this point, Jack Flaherty has decided to opt in and stay in Detroit. And Shane Bieber, acquired at the deadline by Toronto, deciding to opt in at 30 years old at $16 million. I want to get your take on it. Which one actually surprised you the most? Because both of them surprised me, but which one maybe got you saying, wow, I didn't see that one coming?
They both surprised me, like you said. Maybe Shane Bieber surprised me more. And it kind of made me think a little bit more like regretful. You know, we didn't trade for him at the deadline, but he was coming off injury. You didn't really know what to expect there. So not only did you get, not only the Blue Jays got him for like the playoff run and then the playoffs and the World Series, and now he opts in for next season. So ultimately they traded for a controlled starter in a way, you know? So that would have been nice to have in our back pocket as a Cub fan. But they both surprised me. And I do wonder, with them both opting in, it's not like long time security. I wonder if like the looming possible strike, if that kind of adds to their decision of like, we're going to take this money right now. We don't know what the market's going to be on the free agent market. You know, it surprised me from a standpoint of like, do they know something that we don't, and the market is going to be like really wonky because of that possible strike? Yeah,
that's what's going to be intriguing about this offseason is each decision that each team makes, each player makes, it's fair to question and ask, is there an ulterior or a broader view decision-making process going on about what could possibly be coming in 2027? Yeah. I'm with you. When it comes to Shane Bieber, that one not only surprised me, but that one hurt my heart a little bit too.
You wanted him, right?
I did. I really liked him, obviously, as a pitcher. He's a former Cy Young winner, so that one's super easy. Coming off of the Tommy John, only 30 years old. Was able to be traded. You know, I don't even remember what Toronto got for him or traded for him and sent him off to the Guardians. But the part when we were talking about yesterday was Shota Imanaga, and we're going back and forth about him declining his deal. And is he worth $15 million? Is he worth $18 million? And we're going to find out whether the Cubs offer the qualifying offer of $22 million. Yeah. But you're telling me that Shane Bieber traded to Toronto enjoyed his experience. We both love that city, as people, very much.
I would say it's the Chicago of Canada.
Right? Okay,
yep.
That's a great. You're leading right into my point
Yeah.
here. So Shane Bieber came, enjoyed his experience. Now, granted, going to the World Series always helps that a little bit.
For
but
sure.
now he's opting in at $16 million. Don't tell me that's not a price that Cubs fans would have put a thumbs up for, or Jed would have put a thumbs up for if they had brought him in last year.
You would think that his team would have advised him, like, we can get you more on a multi-year deal, right? But I don't really want to say I think he loved Toronto that much to just be like, yeah, I'm going to do you guys a solid. I think him and his team, and maybe Flaherty as well, they are just a little scared about what the market's going to look like because of this possible strike.
We got some people coming in the chat here. Becky, what's up, Becky? We also have a Luque Stuckmeyer saying, I'm watching you, Roman.
Oh, he's watching. What I meant to say is Luke Stuckmeyer is the best professional co-host I've ever had in my entire life, and he's very, very handsome, and he is great at eating cake.
Mentor, father figure.
Yeah.
You know that scene when they showed Yamamoto in his workout routine, and he did that back stand where he was literally on his back, and then he did a back stand?
Yeah.
Only other person I ever saw do that? Luke Stuckmeyer.
You saw him do that.
The only, he does it all the time in the office to
miss you,
limber
Luke.
up.
Thanks for watching, buddy.
You'll be in tomorrow. Enjoy your day off, and hooray! Another afternoon with Joey, Dominic Fortini, right on. Thank you so much, Dom. Appreciate you.
I think tomorrow he's actually remote, so he actually won't even be in.
Oh, he's
tomorrow.
not even coming.
Yeah.
Wow,
he's
He
working,
lives
but he's
the
not.
life. He lives
he's
the
not gonna
life.
be
when
here.
you go to the Rally Cake Conference and they call him in, the head honcho, to talk about the sweets of next year. That's what it takes.
So Dominic actually brings up a good point about Bieber. He wants to win. Okay, so I hear you, but you mean to tell me that Toronto is the only place that he can win in? I mean, there's multiple contenders. I just do wonder if the market is scaring some of these guys, and we'll see how it plays out. And, you know, being the eternal optimist that I am, the market's scaring some guys and kind of uncertainty. Could that possibly play into the Cubs' hands if they play their cards right?
Yeah, that's the part that I get. Everyone makes their own decision.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing two sides of this coin right now, and one of the sides I think is maybe on the lesser end of what we're hearing noise-wise, at least what I hear on socials, where I think there's a lot of Cubs fans out there that are terrified and scared that the Cubs are not going to be interested in multi-year deals that go 3, 4, 5 years because they're worried about the labor strife and they don't want to commit mega dollars to that. But on the other side, it is curious that Shane Bieber and Jack Flaherty seem to not have a problem just taking the 1-year deal and having that uncertainty heading into whatever that labor strife is. They just want their money now. And if you're an agent where, let's talk about Kyle Tucker right now. Kyle Tucker, are you in the position where you want to get the best, longest, hugest deal possible? Or do you also want to maybe play in the waters of some of these deals that we've seen of the years past?
Cody Bellinger type deal.
Right, the opt-outs. Totally, Justin. And that's the question that I'm trying to figure out right now. Is it really that big of a looming cloud, this labor thing, about how this offseason is going to go?
I think the Flaherty one's completely different. I think you saw him sign with this team, Detroit, in the 2024 offseason, traded to the Dodgers, won his World Series, and then he wanted to go back to Detroit. And he didn't have this great of a year. So I don't know if the market would even be that kind to him. An 89 ERA plus. He pitched 31 games, which I think is a huge win for him. But
$20 million is like, I'll take that $20 million.
Right. So I don't think the Flaherty one is much of a sign, because the Bieber one, he's making less than Flaherty, who he's much better than. And obviously had that postseason success. So you'd think that Bieber, especially with his past injury success, that he would want to cash in. I think Flaherty might just be over-negotiating at this point. But yeah, the Bieber one is odd.
It is odd. And I mean, again, it could play to both ends of the players might be a little scared, not really realizing what's going to be coming here in the offseason with the market. But again, I like to think of it as, you know, the Cubs can also be very opportunistic in that situation where, you know, if the market isn't what some of these guys think, okay, well, come on over here to us and we can give you this. And I'm excited to see how it works. I really don't know. With Kyle Tucker, you know, I know the big thing came out today that, like, I think John Heyman said that there's, like, it's a far cry or a far stretch.
Unlikely for the Chicago Cubs to go beyond $300 million with Kyle Tucker, which would make him unlikely to re-sign with the Chicago Cubs.
I think, and I've said it all along, since the second half of the season, let me reverse here. In the beginning of the year, we made that trade. I would have bet my life that they made that trade and they were going to sign Kyle Tucker to a long-term deal. Like, I thought this was the guy that Ricketts was going to really, like, bet his entire franchise on, the face of the franchise, high character guy, phenomenal player, phenomenal offensive left-handed hitter. I thought that was almost like a no-brainer. Like they were going to let him experience Wrigley in the summer and like all those kind of things and success, playoffs. And I thought he was going to be signed for sure long-term. And then the injury happened and it all got kind of funky and weird. And like the crowd kind of turned on him a little bit. I don't think he did himself any favors with kind of his dry personality, not really taking to the Wrigley faithful. And then I saw it in real time and I'm like, either he's not re-signing here or the Cubs don't think he's worth what he thinks he's going to get. I kind of saw a divorce happening in real time. And even his comments at the end of the postseason, I mean, that to me was like, sayonara, thanks for the year, and I'm out. There was just no emotion and no, I just didn't feel good about it. So I'm not shocked that the Cubs won't go past a, $300 million for that player.
Yeah.
I just don't think that maybe he's the guy we're going to hitch our wagon to.
So you could provide me a range. I don't want to put you on a spot with an exact dollar amount, but like what is your range for interest in terms of bringing Kyle Tucker back? Like, what do you think would be a number? Because I understand when we started putting the 5 in front of it, when we started talking about $500 million, you at the very least, obviously the Cubs have never done it before. Cubs fans, we've never had to cheer for a player that made $500 million. So it's a lot to kind of digest. And it was a lot for me to digest of like, man, he better be worth it. Right. And when it got down to the 4 number, I was more of, okay, this is the price of doing business. It's a big number. I understand it. It probably means it'll have to be a 10-year deal, which also scared me a little bit. But I understood that is the parlance of our times, that's what these guys get paid. But Justin, at 300, like the Cubs wouldn't even entertain a $300 million deal. I mean, I don't know. Bryce Harper signed for 330.
Yeah.
There's a lot of.
Well, don't forget too, you're hearing this from John Heyman, right?
Sure.
So it's not the Bible. I mean, it's Heyman has been notorious for being kind of an agent's earpiece.
A different book of John.
There you go. So, I don't know it to be fact. I just think that if the Cubs don't re-sign Kyle Tucker, it might not be because of the asking price. It just might not be because they don't want to put the money into that player after what we kind of saw transpire this past year. And also, 2 years in a row now, is he an injury-ridden player? I mean, 2 years in a row, he has been. So when it comes to, you're asking me, like, what would I do it for? Listen, I wouldn't cry if they did re-sign him. I've been on record. I personally rather would go a high annual value for Kyle Schwarber, a shorter deal. I'm all in on putting money out there for people, but I feel like Schwarber is a better fit. You stick him at DH, left-handed pop. He's going to hit about 50 bombs. Heroes welcome coming back to Wrigley Field. So I'm not against spending money. I just don't know that Kyle Tucker, this little audition we had this past year, it just didn't feel right. I don't know. It wasn't the perfect fit.
Well, obviously the way that it ended wasn't great and completely unexpected. And as we've covered a lot here on CHGO Cubs, I think that there was a lot more, and you put it very aptly, that he's a dry personality, quiet guy. We all thought that he was going to be really low maintenance. And for the most part, personality-wise, he was, but the events and the things that transpired over the year created a sense of drama that I didn't see coming. Really surprising to me.
Totally.
And I think the question is, when it comes to Kyle Tucker, that I am asking myself just as a fan, is that are Kyle Tucker's best days still ahead of him? And I understand that the injury bug bit him this year. I'm kind of giving him a pass for the injury the previous year. He slammed the ball off of his shin, and there was a fracture. Yeah. So you missed 3 months. That's a part of the game.
There's a slide. That's kind of fluky as well.
Right. So how do you make sense of that? It's a little murky. It's hard to deal with. My thing with Schwarber is, I don't even have to answer the question of the best days ahead of him. I just know that he is flush in his prime right now.
Yes.
And there is a sample size that, at least for the last 3 or 4 years, I think I can bank on for at least the next 2 or 3 years of whatever a 5-year deal is. And then in year 4 or 5, maybe it's down just a touch, but still really damn good.
And also, I know this doesn't matter when it comes to dollars, all right? But it should factor in a little bit. I love Kyle Schwarber's personality. You talk about, he would be a leader of this team, right? And he's vocal. He's a good interview. I feel like he's passionate. I feel like I've seen him slam his helmet down and be fiery, I've seen him be super excited about the big bombs he's hit. I've seen him do some dancing out in left field. I just feel like he loves the game and loves Chicago. I'm not saying Kyle Tucker doesn't love Chicago, but he sure as hell didn't show it. He was very stoic. And again, that's not a knock on his play. That's who he is as a personality. But I'm just saying, if you gave me a choice of Kyle Schwarber on a shorter deal, but tons of money still, or Kyle Tucker, with this long deal, I really would choose Kyle Schwarber.
It was strange, like the moment remember that photo of all of them hanging out on the boat in the summer?
Yeah.
It's all kind of downhill from there.
Yeah, right,
You're like,
yeah.
oh, he actually does really love it here. We're going to line up a break here on CHGO Cubs. Jump in the chat if you want to. I just want to know, like, what is your threshold on Kyle Tucker? Would you not pay him more than $285 million? Would you not pay him more than $300? Would you go all the way up to $400 million to bring Kyle Tucker back here in Chicago? Plus, we got report cards for Jameson Taillon, so don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back here on the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. Hey there, Chicago sports fans. It's Blackhawks and Bulls season, and it is on the Chicago Sports Network. Visit chsn.com/podcast to sign up for your 7-day free trial for the All Access plan, which gives you over 300 live games per year. Catch every basket and every goal from your mobile device, television, or wherever you want to watch. CHSN. It's your home for the Blackhawks and Bulls all season long. The Chicago Sports Network, your home stream advantage. CHSN is also now available on Xfinity, DirecTV Stream, and also, according to Big Dave, a Fubo. So visit chsn.com for more details and check out all that excellent Bulls and Blackhawks action. The Bulls are 6-1. Blackhawks above 500. Perfect time to join the CHSN group. I also want to talk today about Bet365. Whatever the moment, never ordinary with Bet365. And with the early payout offer, you are a winner. If your football team, it doesn't matter if it's the Bears or whoever it is in the NFL, if you pick on them and they all go up by 17 points, you get an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download the app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. They've got the Thursday Night Football $10 safety net bet. They've got the Sunday Night Football $365,000 jackpot. So place a $10 bet on the first touchdown scored and get a split of that $365K in bonus bets if your player scores the final touchdown of the game. It's payable regardless or if the first touchdown scores, if the bet wins or loses, and it's called that Sunday Night Jackpot. They also have a Monday Night Football 50% super parlay boost on same game parlays. So what you got to do is take the guesswork out of it and go head on over to Bet365. Playoff season is here or right around the corner for the Chicago Bears, so make sure you use code CHGO365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5, get $200 in bonus bets. You must be 21 plus or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER and app only. Coming back here on the CHGO Cubs podcast, Joey Christopolous, Justin Roman, producer Sean Anderson filling in. We're all filling in for Luke Stuckmeyer today.
But he's in the chat.
It takes a village.
He's in the chat. So
he's in the chat.
He's still here.
He's dialing in. We've got him on hold right now. Make sure you like this video. If you haven't already, subscribe to our CHGO Cubs channel, please. It's a great way to check out and get notifications on when our next content is. We're going to be here with you all off season long, 4 days a week. Got a lot of chatter going on in the chat. Dominic Fortini, 1389. Did the Cubs win the World Series? Tucker failed. Also asking the question, who's going to play right field? Also, Owen Casey is throwing out there, too, as well. People believe that Casey and Moises are studs. And also, WCWL Wiffle Ball. I wouldn't give Tucker more than a bag of chips, Sean.
So, hey, just got to throw out Aaron Judge, failure. Vlad Guerrero Jr., failure. Matt Chapman, failure. Cal Raleigh, failure.
Yeah.
Any player. If you're not a part of the 26-man Rogers on the Dodgers, your season was a complete
Cal
and
utter
utter failure.
Thumbs down season.
Oh,
Do better.
You broke Johnny Bench's catcher home run record? Sit down, loser.
And Mickey Mantle's switch hitting record, too, as well.
I got a buddy who literally, that's his mentality, is like, if you didn't win, like you failed. And I'm like, I hear you. Like, the goal is to win the World Series, but I look at the Cubs as having a pretty damn good year this year. I wanted to go further, and I hope we go further next year. But I wouldn't say the year was a failure, but some people have that mentality.
If you're a tennis player, maybe.
Right.
If you're a solo person.
Right.
But it's a 26-man team.
Totally,
I mean, if Shota Imanaga sucks and Kyle Tucker hits 2 home runs, the Cubs easily could still lose that game.
Right.
Also, it's not your money.
Right.
Like, I don't understand this whole idea. Like, the Cubs are a billion-dollar franchise.
Yes.
And the fact that they wouldn't go over $300 million should be insulting to fans because it's not your money, and you're giving them money each and every year you're alive, whether it's through merchandise, TV,
They're also raising ticket prices 8 to 10%.
I bet they are.
next year.
Parking. I mean, all the hotels.
To counter that, I totally hear you. I'm not taking this 300 million John Heyman report as the Bible, like I said earlier. He has been known to kind of be an earpiece for agents and kind of like, stirring the pot a little bit. Now, listen, there's a pretty good chance they don't sign Kyle Tucker long term. I'm not sure it's the price that would be the reason. It might be the player and the fit. But again, I'm going to hold my judgment. I always do. I hold my judgment until the opening day roster because, as we're reading the chat here about who's going to replace Cal Tucker in right field, let's not forget, Cal Tucker didn't play right field for like the second half of the season. Who did? Seiya Suzuki. Now, in the past, I thought Seiya Suzuki was a horrible defender. I thought he did a pretty good job filling in for Cal Tucker, not just in the second half of the season, but also in the playoffs. I mean, he didn't make any miscues that I can remember that cost us games or anything. We have Owen Casey. We have Moises Ballesteros. So you're looking at right field, DH. You already kind of have guys that are kind of a logjam here. Now, listen, I'm not saying let Tucker walk and Ricketts pocket the money. I'll be very mad about that. But I would not be mad if you let Tucker walk, Casey and Moises and Seiya kind of do their thing, and then spend on the pitching staff. If it gets me Dylan Cease and it gets me XYZ, I'm happy with that plan as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely, just to get back on the season as a failure thing, I'm a journey as begins with a single step kind of guy.
Okay.
I do believe that there is value in every single failure and small success that you have on the path to whatever triumph that you're trying to do. Yeah. We got some sicko check-ins from a guy named Lakai Stukmeyer. I don't know. I'm sorry. And Vince Perez, too. What's up, Vince, man? Our buddy from Old Crow Smokehouse. Yeah. But again, with this question with Tucker, and Sean, I want you to weigh in on this, too, because here's the part that I can't figure out, is that I think Major League Baseball has to be really careful this offseason that if you start banging the drum or if you start seeing smoke, that owners are afraid to commit multi-year dollars this year because they're worried about labor strife coming the year after that. Doesn't that start to smell like collusion to you? You can't tank this offseason if you're Major League Baseball and not commit dollars. And we've been seeing this for years now where guys sign later in the year. Yeah. Cody Bellinger, where am I going to get my money? Oh, I'm going to sign this one-year deal. Alex Bregman, where am I going to get my money? I'm going to do this with all these opt-outs. Again, the tension continues to build, and I think will get even worse if it isn't done honestly, or at least like on an honest face of like this offseason. You see some teams do put out some money on some dollars on some players. Yeah. If the Chicago Cubs really are adverse to not signing multi-year players this offseason because they're worried about labor strife coming 2 years from now, I'm sorry, but I just don't think that is within the spirit of the rule. If I was a baseball player, I'd be wildly upset. Yeah. And if anything, that would just piss off players more when they go to the negotiating table next year, because we know owners secretly maybe want this salary cap, and they're already rich, and everyone says we don't want to spend money now because we're worried about a labor strike the year after that. Well, guess what? When the labor strike is over, baseball will resume and the money will still have to be paid. Yeah, so that's the part I don't understand.
I think that baseball's got a major problem here because it's never been better. I mean, really, it's like it's thriving right now.
It's 100% back. It's baseball is back.
1,000% back. And so baseball has a problem because it's so back. And like the World Series had these amazing ratings, not better than the Cubs though, by the way. But regardless, it was phenomenal. And like you have players, like Shohei's and the Vladdies and all that. You got exciting young guys like PCA and everything. But like here we are talking strike, and it's like baseball can't afford to have another strike, especially right now when it's like never been better. So baseball really has a problem. But that being said, I also don't think the Dodgers can do the deferring thing, and they got to fix some of this stuff. They got to fix loopholes, and they got salary cap is one thing. I think there should be a salary floor. I think that teams like Pittsburgh should have to spend money. So I think they have a major problem, but the biggest problem they have is they shouldn't allow a strike, because that's just momentum, and a strike's going to be like, here we go all over again, So it's tough.
It could be worse than 94.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that. Look, like in 94, we had some amazing players, right? We had Ken Griffey Jr. Frank Thomas. Right. We still had Tony Gwynn in the game. We still had Barry Bonds in his prime. There was a lot of great things going for baseball right now. Yeah. But in terms of internationally growing the game right now, there is no bigger star than Shohei Ohtani. Right. So you're literally going to tell me that you're going to take games off of the schedule. You're going to take money away from the till and from the gate because you're trying to institute this hard salary cap, which also, by the way, they already kind of have a soft salary cap with this luxury tax where they make it more punitive year after year after year. Now, this is a conversation for next year, right? But I am curious about how it seems to be on everyone's mind that this is how next year's problem is going to affect this year's offseason. Yes. And the one thing about me with the Cubs is I hope that they are proactive, and I hope they say to themselves that we could still spend money on this team and it's not going to affect us in future years because of the position that they put themselves in.
Yeah,
like Justin, they have money coming off the books all over the place.
Yeah.
They could stand to absorb a 4 or 5 year contract for multiple players this offseason because so many guys, including the guy we're going to do a report card on in a couple minutes, is all coming off the books in the next year or so.
Would you be mad? I'm just thinking out loud right now. Would you be mad if the Cubs loaded up and spent tons of money, but on a lot of 1 year deals to supplement the guys they have long term, like Swanson and PCA and Bush and Matt Shaw and Palencia? Would that make you mad if they spent just up to the luxury tax, but it was a bunch of 1 year deals that supplemented what they already have?
So I want the best baseball team we could possibly have out there.
Right.
So
Agreed.
I'm not going to be upset if they let's just throw a couple, let's just say Alex Bregman wanted to do a 1 year deal and then they loaded up on a couple of great, like Michael King did a 1 year deal or whatever. Right. I'm just arbitrarily throwing names out there.
Hypothetical.
I wouldn't be upset if it meant that they had a real shot at winning the National League and the World Series. Right. I'm cool with every season is sacred and worrying about the 2032 Cubs some other time. I will say though that it is kind of a bit of a dangerous way of continuously thinking that you can keep rolling it over and keep saying to yourself, we're always going to hit on every single free agent, every single time. I am someone that is more interested in guys that, look, they have a track record. This is bankable, and the dollar that I'm spending is the dollar that I'm going to get as a return. So I understand the deferred money is like I'm spending $1 in 20 years that I'm not getting a return on. Well, I would just push back that Kyle Schwarber, Kyle Tucker, those are dollars that you're spending that you can get dollars on return on. So I'm open to that, but
you said something that sparked something in my head. Track record, right?
Yeah.
I think we both know Kyle Schwarber's track record is what it is, right? I mean, it's bombs and RBIs and on base and all this.
Ironclad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is Kyle Tucker's track record what you think it is? What you want it to be? Does it exist anymore? You have 2 years now of inconsistencies, injuries. I know he was great, 2 years ago, that first half of the year. Injury then kind of messed it up a little bit. Does Kyle Tucker have a track record that excites you?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it still does to me. Okay. And the big one is, and I'm kind of picking this off of somebody else, but they were having a conversation, and I think it's a fun one where it's like, Juan Soto, you can debate the merits when you look at the counting stats of whether he's worth $700 million. Okay. But across baseball, and if you talk to enough people, Juan Soto puts together the toughest, best, most impressive at-bat every single time he goes up there. Okay. He spoils really good pitches. He has a great innate sense of the zone. He can hit the ball hard. He can get on base.
He shuffles.
Yeah, he does. He does. And he gets a little attitude about it too as well when he spits on a pitch that most people would usually swing at. I do think Kyle Tucker over time, I think he does put together still a really, really impressive at bat. Now, we've seen him get out of whack last year out here with the Chicago Cubs that frankly even surprised me. And I don't know how the power exactly will play on a year-to-year basis. But I do believe that he is definitely, if you want to, adjectives, right? Above average, elite. I think he is closer to elite than he is above average. Okay. I don't know if I'm putting him in the category with Vlad Guerrero Jr., Cal Raleigh, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto. I don't know if he's in that category, but I do think he is in the category right below it. The question is, again, I'm now asking myself the question, can he stay on the field? That's going to be a question now that I probably is going to dog him for a couple of years.
Because a lot of his value is being a right fielder and stealing bases.
Correct.
And all those things, right?
Right. And then the other part is, is he a future DH? Is he going to be able to stay in right field? Just how does that work with the construction of your roster? But I really do believe still that Kyle Tucker is an upper echelon hitter. Is he the difference maker that I thought he would be? No, but I'm starting to maybe split hairs, and I'm maybe starting to lean into my own bias of expectation where, coming into the year, Justin, we had to do these predictions, right, of who's going to lead the team in home runs and what is it going to be. I had Kyle Tucker hitting 37 home runs, right? That's my expectation, though, right? That I have to recalibrate that maybe he is.
I think we all felt that way. We Chicago was craving a superstar, the Cubs in particular, and Jed went out and traded for a superstar. Yeah. The problem is we only got a superstar for about 2 months, and then he went away. So that's why I think it's just disappointing across the board because we actually did get that superstar, and we saw a glimpse of what he can do, and you saw a glimpse of what the lineup can do with him in the middle of it. But then we just never saw it again. I mean, literally, we never saw it again. And now here we are. It's like probably not going to be re-signing him.
No, and that's what is so difficult about it, and that's what makes it hard for Cubs fans to figure it out. And I think that's why there's so much conversation is we have seen the highs and then we saw the lows, and now we're asking ourselves, is there an in-between, and could we live with both of those, all three of those scenarios, and what is that worth moving forward to you? And that's going to be the question that I think the Chicago Cubs, according to all reports right now, are probably going to say no to. I think they're going to try and maybe move on from Kyle Tucker. And I keep banging the drum for Kyle Schwarber, not because he's a fan favorite and I love him deeply, which is true, but also because his number probably falls more in line with what the Chicago Cubs would do, which is that $180, $190 million
It's almost
contract.
the perfect fit for our team right now. And then all the extra stuff that comes with it, it's almost the perfect signing.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning right now. We're going to take a break. On the other side of the break, it is time, report card time, for Jameson Taillon, unsung hero, career year. You decide. Jump in the chat. We're coming right back here on the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. Hey, Cubs fans, Toyota has 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. They have the RAV4, legendary versatility. They got the Grand Highlanders adult-sized third row. It is for real. And the Tacomas Wild Side comes standard. From job sites to campsites to game nights, there's always an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive for you to get out there in style. So drive Toyota and find yours at Toyota.com or visit Chicagoland Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And ladies and gentlemen, Sean, everyone in the audience, it's a perfect time to become a CHGO diehard. Bulls in full swing, Blackhawks, Bears trying to make it to the playoffs, and we have exclusive written content from Adam Johns, Jared Willis, Patrick Norton, Will Gottlieb. The list goes on. And if you join the CHGO team, you get plenty of discounts on future merch and future events. Hang out in our CHGO Discord lounge where we all hang out and just talk sports all day long. So head to allchgo.com right now for the latest information on how you can join the thousands of CHGO diehards in our community. We cannot wait to connect with you on an even greater level. And also, I got a special message out there for all those athletes. Got a question for you. Are you serious about leveling up your game? Because the right coach can change everything. And now finding one is easy with Eye on the Ball, the company created by CHGO diehards. It does not matter if your kid is just starting out or competing at the top level. You can sign up totally free at eyeontheball.net. All you got to do is create your profile, search through coaches in your sport, and connect directly with the one that is right for you. From soccer to swimming, baseball, basketball, polo, whatever it is, you name it, the coaches are there. So what are you waiting for? Your future coach could be one click away. Jump on today. It is eyeontheball.net. That's right. Eyeontheball.net, athletes. Coaches out there ready to train you up. Coaches looking for athletes to take their game to the next level. You can find your coach and take your game to that very next level by going to eyeontheball.net, the company created by CHGO diehards. Coming back here on the CHGO Cubs podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like this video. Subscribe to the channel CHGO Cubs, or you can also join and subscribe to CHGO Sports. Over 92,000 and climbing. Oh, dude, we're going to be at 100K before you know it.
That's amazing. That's cool.
Joey Christopolous, Justin Roman in for Luke Stuckmeyer today. We have a celebrity in the chat right now. Schwarber and I would be a tough duo, not Tucker from Pete Crow Armstrong 67. So, Pete, man, thank you for all that you do.
It's Pete Crow Armstrong 6'7".
Oh, 6'7".
That's what he's doing.
A young
PCA
kid.
6'7".
I get it. I love it.
Which, by the way, I have an 11-year-old, and that's all him and his buddy say. And I have no idea what it means, and I've asked them, and they have no idea what it means. But it's like the biggest thing in the world for kids right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, all we can do is just ask our elder stewards like Luke Stuckmeyer and Jay Zawalski at CHO Blackhawks to keep doing it so that the trend just dies.
Oh, okay, they kill it.
Yeah, we need people to just come in.
The more that we do it, the less we'll see it.
Okay.
So
6'7".
yeah, no, we can stop.
The more that we do it, the less.
It does reference 67th Street. The actual like song that it's originally from is a guy singing about 67th Street.
Okay.
But it's more of an internet meme because this kid that's like, got this crazy blonde mop top was cut to in a basketball crowd, like at a high school game, and he went 6'7" like that,
just randomly.
And that's it's really just dumb.
It's so big with like that young generation. It's crazy.
To be very fair, I had Pauly Shore growing up, so I mean we can all just.
What was his big catchphrase?
Luiso, Chito, bro. Okay, it's time.
All right.
We've been teasing it. We've been talking about it. We got ahead of ourselves with a little Kyle Tucker, but Kyle Tucker talk is always welcome here in the CHGO Cubs podcast.
So is Pauly Shore talk.
So is Pauly Shore. Oh, man.
Buddy, right?
Yeah, in January, we're going to be doing a deep dive.
Okay.
My first car was a 6.7 Mustang. Oh, Luke's still in the chat. Still chilling. It is time. It's time to do our report cards for a guy who I think we can say is maybe sometimes maligned by Cubs fans, maybe sometimes overlooked by Cubs fans. I mean, he goes about his work. He's a quiet contributor, but man, guy that had a really solid year, Jameson Taillon.
Yeah.
Just your overall thoughts. We're going to do our grades in a second, but just when I say what kind of a year did Jameson Taillon have to you, Justin, what do you say?
I think he had a great year, phenomenal postseason. I think he's a real good dude, a great teammate. I've seen him on Twitter. Actually, recently, when it was about the Cade Horton Rookie of the Year nomination, and like he got on Twitter and was like defending why Cade Horton should be the winner. He's just a good dude. I recognize he was a good dude from his opening press conference with the Cubs, was it 3 years ago, for whatever it was? It was via Zoom, and I'm watching it. I'm like, God, this is like a real nice guy, you know? And then he's a consistent pitcher. You know what you're gonna get more times than not. Quality start. And I would argue my last thing I'll say about him is he's underappreciated. I think because he's not flashy, I think Cub fans have underappreciated this guy, but he had a great year.
Yeah, and as we're doing this today, I thought it was nice to do the follow-up to Jameson Taillon after doing Shota Imanaga yesterday.
Right.
Because I think the theme of yesterday's show was that we loved Shota as a Cub, and he loved being a Cub. He was a fan favorite. But inconsistencies in the second half of the season, unfortunately, now have him in peril of whether he's going to be a Chicago Cub moving forward. That is not the case with Jameson Taillon.
No.
Jameson Taillon is a metronome. He has been as consistent, as consistent as it gets. Yeah, go out 7 innings, 2 runs, 3 runs every single time. And I think that's what needs to be, that's my overriding theme or thought when I think about Jameson Taillon this year. My other one is my big Chicago sports, it's a pet peeve almost, is when these guys sign these long-term contracts. I always ask myself, you know, when Jameson Taillon signs a 4-year deal, are you really, as a Cubs fan, expecting to get 4 incredible years every single time? I personally don't. I think there's always going to be one off year in there, or a year that, whether there's injury, whether there's inconsistency, you're just not going to get maybe what you paid for in terms of the contract.
Or you had to add an extra year to get the guy, you know, that last year's going to kind of be like...
Right, so if you telling me the conversion rate is 60 to maybe 70 or over on the percent of delivering on it, then I'm happy and I think it was a good deal. And after this season, I'm ready and willing to say that the Jameson Taillon deal was a great deal.
Absolutely.
Did not have a good first year. Was incredibly solid last year, and then backed it up again with another really solid season. So that's now 2 out of 3 heading into a contract year. And when we talk about, you know, what are we going to need from this Cubs rotation next year, I think Jameson Taillon now slides really nicely into hopefully that 3 or 4 slot.
Agreed.
If he's a number 2, I get a little worried, right? But we're both hoping that, you know, your guy Dylan Cease or someone comes in and it's Cade Horton and somebody else.
Via trade or free agency, he's the 1A, 1B,
and now you feel really, really good about Jameson Taillon sliding into that 3-4 spot and just providing you what you said. Innings eater, a guy that always takes the bump every 5th day, gives you really good work on the mound, isn't going to blow you away with stuff, but he's really refined it and just figured out what works for him. There's a formula for Jameson Taillon, and it works, and it really came to fruition this year.
It did, you know, and again, there's a comment there I want to get to really fast, if you don't mind pulling that up fast. They called me out, and I want to acknowledge it. Dominic, right there, I said, you say Tucker wasn't personable, neither is Taillon, but you heap praise on a guy who prepares and goes out and does. So here's the deal. You're absolutely right. Tucker's personality, it was dry, and I just never felt he like loved being a Cub. I never felt like he loved Chicago. That is not true with Jameson Taillon. He could be quiet, and I feel like, and I've seen it, he loves being a Cub, and he loves being in Chicago. That's my difference of Tucker and Taillon. Yes, they're both on the quiet side, if you will, but like one never really embraced the city, in my opinion, and Taillon definitely has.
Yeah, my only pushback on that is that I don't think I'm asking as a Cubs fan that Jameson Taillon have a megaphone and be hilarious and like do a stand-up set for 10 minutes. And maybe he's just had more, he's been afforded more of just being there a little bit longer.
Right.
But if you do listen to Nico Horner, Ian Happ, they will name check Jameson Taillon regularly. There is a friendship core there on that team.
Yeah.
And Jameson Taillon is looked at as a leader on that team.
Yep.
And he's also looked at an elder statesman and a guy that has a lot of close relationships on the Chicago Cubs. So I think his presence is definitely felt in the locker room if he isn't necessarily like that rah-rah guy.
Right.
And we unfortunately maybe just don't have the benefit of either the knowledge or the time to understand whether Kyle Tucker made those relationships or not. But clearly, I think what we're talking about a little bit more is, acknowledge the right field fans. They love you out there. That kind of stuff that never really came up. So,
and one more thing.
Yeah.
Kyle Hendricks, another guy, dry personality, but I always knew he loved being a Cub and loved Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm not asking everyone to be like PCA, right? I mean, we couldn't have 9 PCAs. Like the Wrigley Field would explode, I feel like. But my point is, not everyone has that personality, but a Kyle Hendricks was dry. I felt like he loved the city and this team. Jameson Taillon, a little bit less personality, but I just know he loves the Cubs and Chicago. And he said it many, many times.
Yeah, so let's I think it's grades time. Yes. I think it's time to hit a little bit of the grades. So we got a graphic with our overall grade, but we're also going to provide separate grades for the regular season and the postseason, especially for the pitchers. And I think Jameson Taillon definitely deserves it, right? So, Justin, lead us off, man. What did you end up giving Jameson Taillon for your
solid season? Had a couple injuries, which you hate to see, but he had a couple injuries. Came back both times. Actually, both times he came back like phenomenal. He came back almost better than when he left, right? So regular season, he was definitely, we needed it. Steele went down early, and he was there to provide the depth and the steadiness that we needed. Came back from injuries both times and really, really well. But for me, he really shined in the postseason. He pitched in 2 elimination games, one against the Padres, one against the Brewers, and did phenomenal in both games. And for me, you play the regular season to get into the postseason, and then that's what matters. That's when we need you to show up, and that's when Jameson Taillon showed up, and when his star shone the brightest was in the playoffs. And for me, that all things considered, that body of work is a B+.
Yeah, look, if you're like the B+ is like an 88, I'm like an 86.
Okay.
I'm really not that far away from a B+. I'm really impressed by Jameson Taillon this year. And again, I was like, of all the times that I think I freaked out this year was that when Jameson Taillon got a calf strain. I was like, oh my God, he's not coming back.
I know.
It's over. But he ended up coming back, and he ended up obviously performing like he did in the postseason. So let's get into some of the stuff of why I have him at a B. Let's start with the stuff that I think makes him a little bit more middle of the road. When you go to Baseball Savant, his fastball velocity, 92.3, not going to blow you back. In about the 20th percentile among Major League Baseball. Again, the higher the percentile, the better that pitch is. But the great part, and we saw it on a week-to-week basis when he took the mound. Walks, he was in the 93rd percentile. He does not put guys on base. Right. He was huge at getting first pitch strike, pounding the zone, getting ahead of the count, making the count and the sequence on his terms.
And with that low walk rate, Chef Kevin Penner says his home run per 9 was the highest ever in 2025. That's okay when you're not putting guys on base via the walk, right? You don't want home runs, but what you do want, if you're going to pick your poison, is a solo home run versus a 2-run, 3-run, or grand slam. And that's I like the no walk thing. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's the big reason why the home run to 9 K rate was the highest ever in 2025. 2 things was he had to make some adjustments, and I'm curious to see whether he's going to have to continue to make adjustments moving forward. When I talk about that 4-seamer, that 4-seamer, as the year went on, he had to throw less and less 4-seamers because that fastball had an expected slug of 537. So when we're talking about fastballs and home runs, that was the bit of the problem, and he had to get more into, and he actually started using less of his cutter, and he got more into a sinker slider. Right. And cutter was a big part of his game the previous years of his career. As it's moved on to the later stages of his career, it's more sweeper, it's more sinker, and I'm curious to see what that mix looks like moving forward. So the fastball can be his friend, and it can be his enemy. The barrel rate was the lowest since it was 2019, 7%. But again, when they did connect it, it really, really hurt Jameson Taillon. The part that I loved about Jameson Taillon, especially this season. Now, he had 4 straight years of 28-plus starts every single year. This year with the calf strain was when he broke that streak with 23. But of those 23 starts, 14 of 23 starts, 6+ innings. I know you like that.
Love it.
I know you like that.
Yes.
Deep in the games, Justin.
Yes.
14 of 23, 6+ innings. 3 or fewer runs in those outings too as well. So pitched well and pitched deep into a game.
Mr. Quality Start.
Yep, 17 of 23, at least 5 innings. 19 of his 23 starts, he gave up 4 runs or less. So really, he only got blown up 3 times all year long. So a guy that gives up a lot of home runs also didn't really get blown out of games. And then the stats that I like in the regular season: at home, pitching at Wrigley Field, 3.05 ERA.
Love it.
Day games, 2.67 ERA.
Love it.
And then had an amazing second half that led into that postseason. 4-1 record, 1.57 ERA after the All-Star break with a 0.90 WHIP. So end of the day, some of the peripherals not exactly ideal. Like his FIP ERA was 4.67. But the guy was still a veteran pitcher with that guile, that moxie, all those cliched words, and was able to get ahead in some counts. And again, was a guy that just eats up innings.
Yeah.
He is an innings horse, and in the middle of a rotation, that's really important to have.
And all those things you read to me, and even about the the fastball and all, it shows me he's a pitcher.
Yes.
He can adjust,
Correct.
right? He's not stubborn to a fact of like, oh, I'm going to pound this fastball. Like, he is a pitcher. He makes adjustments year to year, and that excites me for next year because, and if you, those stats, after the All-Star break, he was great, like almost phenomenal. Postseason, he was great. So we got better as the year went on. So I'm excited about next year because he is a pitcher, a smart pitcher at that. And what adjustments will he make going into next year? Like, he might outperform his contract. I mean, like, for real, a 4-year deal that you feel good about right now. What if Taillon has a phenomenal year next year, or at least pitches like a 3 in this rotation? You'd say he outperformed the contract.
Yeah, look, he's going to go to the post 28, 30 times a year. Going to win you. I mean, I know we don't value wins as much anymore, but still pitch deep enough into games to get you 10 to 13 wins. The ERA is going to be around 3.5. He's going to keep you in ball games. He hasn't walked a lot of guys. I get it. He gives up the occasional home run. But at the same time, this guy is a really quality pitcher. And Luke Stuckmeyer, Cubs' best pitcher in playoffs, exceeded my predictions or expectations. Did he exceed Zip's projections? Sean, do you have that graphic, or we did talk about it before the show? We can verbal that too.
No, I read them out loud for you to write them down.
So
the computer's also crashing. So
that's what I was asking.
Let me see if we can use our dial-up to find that.
Anyways, the Zips projection were pretty much right in line with what he ended up putting up. I think he had a 1.3 F4.
No, he was better. It was around. It was around a 4 ERA
because he pitched less.
Yeah, but it was. Well, hold on. So give me a second.
Well, hold on. While you're looking at that, who cares about the Zip projections? He exceeded Luke's projections, and that means everything. On this show, that means everything.
So how many innings did he pitch?
What's that? He pitched 144.
He was projected to pitch 144 2/3.
That's insane.
And no, wait, I'm sorry. He pitched 129. He was projected to pitch 144. I got those
you
flipped.
have the projections.
I just remember them in my head.
So he pitched less than what he was projected to
because of injury,
but he pitched better. A 4.17 ERA was projected. He was around 3.6,
3.67.
Yeah, and his WAR was 1.3. I think in total it was 1.1, which in 3 games less, his quality per start was greater than what was expected.
Yeah, so outperformed projections. Again, that second half was a huge part of that too, as well.
And we needed him the most in the second half in the postseason, right? I mean, like, think about it. We were kind of falling the guys were falling like flies. Like Shoto was down, Jameson. So I mean, and we lost Steele early on. I mean, like, he really impressed me because when we lost him the first time, I'm like, and then he came back great, and then we lost him again, and he came back great. I mean, like, he really did bounce back both times, and became, I mean, he wasn't our ace, but I mean, he was, I say, a solid number 2 for this team, because don't forget, Matthew Boyd kind of fell off towards the end of the season as well. So, I mean, we would not have anywhere gotten close to where we were without Jameson Taillon this year. Yeah,
when you talk about not getting anywhere close, so you had a B+ overall, I had a B overall. Yep. What was your postseason grade for Jameson Taillon?
A.
I had A-.
And also, you can read the stats. I think you have stats there. You can read them, but like, just the eye test of, like, we gave him the ball in 2 elimination games. Like, we gave J-Mo the ball in 2 elimination games, and for him to be the horse that we needed, and mind you, we were kind of scrambling because San Diego, he pitched game 3, I believe, right? We had the opener for Shota on game 2, and we're backs against the wall now. A game 3, and who took the ball and who just freaking was awesome. Jameson Taillon, right? And then Milwaukee, we're down 0-2. The sky is falling, right? And when it gets to JMO, elimination game again, he steps up. And the guy stepped up twice for us in the postseason, all the pressure on him, and he delivered, man. So for me, it's an A.
Yeah, against San Diego Padres, just to reiterate, 4 shutout innings, only 2 hits, 4 Ks against Milwaukee, 4 innings pitched, 5 hits. Guy had a little traffic with a couple runs allowed, 1 walk, 3 Ks. But when we talk about postseason performance, and what we needed, as you said, what we needed from that man, Jameson Taillon, in those moments during those series was absolutely crucial. And Jameson Taillon, right? Like, I get it. It was a shorter series, and we were talking about MVPs, and we're throwing Dansby out there. Right. Jameson Taillon was right up there on that list, and he's another Cub that I think after the postseason, I think we're walking out of the year with a greater appreciation for Jameson Taillon. And honestly, I have a little bit more of an excitement about what he can bring to the team next year than I think maybe more like, oh, ho-hum. He's not a top of the front of the rotation guy. You know what I mean? Should we get excited about Jameson Taillon? I think that you should. I think that he's a guy that's going to lock into the rotation next year. And when you look at the money that was given out to him and the consistency that he brought compared to the situation that we've gone through the last couple of days with Shota Imanaga, I'm happy that Jameson Taillon's on the Cubs.
Absolutely. And I think that if he is your 3 or 4 next year, which I think we both hope he is, you have a pretty damn good rotation, because that means you have Horton and then fill in the blank of a trade or a Cease or somebody that's ace-like up top, and then you go Boyd, Taillon. I think the emergence of Taillon and the consistency and what you see is what you get. It also may play into the whole Shota decision too, because I've said it before, I'll say it again. Jackson Wiggins is coming, right? Javier Assad, people wanted him on the playoff roster. I think you can afford to let Shota go if you do, and put that money into a higher end starting pitcher, because you have a guy like Jameson Taillon, anchoring that 3 or 4 spot.
Man, we're gonna. I don't want to overhype Jackson Wiggins. I hope he's just really good, because if he is, it solves a lot of these issues. And Chef Kevin Penner, who's always in the chat, always bringing great comments, he said something along the lines of, he brought some stats out and also said that he's more of a starting pitcher 5 now. I don't disagree with you. Can we maybe meet in the middle and say maybe he's your 4 now?
Taillon?
So as long as the Cubs go out and sign, as long as the Cubs go out and sign a front of the line guy. Adam with Cade Horton, and then Matthew Boyd, Jameson Taillon with the 5, then that's where Jameson Taillon slides in, and it's pretty damn good.
You're only signing one pitcher, though? I mean, the whole talk is that you're not spending $300 million. I mean, the Schwarber thing seems like it's not even like a guarantee. He might just sign back with Philly. Like, if you don't get Schwarber, you wouldn't want to get another top of the line or 3rd starting pitcher.
My thing is, here's what my gut tells me: we're going to sign somebody like a Dylan Cease or fill in the blank, whatever, right? And I don't forget, we have a lot of prospect capital. I see a trade coming as well. There's been a lot of talk back, last offseason about us trading some of these young prospects for a pitcher. So I could see a situation where we sign somebody that's like a Dylan Cease, and we could trade for somebody to fill the rotation as well. So I don't think it's only free agency this offseason. I think, and also with the looming strike and everything, in the market, I think a trade might even be likely, where you kind of have a cost controlled starter that's in your rotation as well.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement here. I think what I want and what I'm leaning on of preparing myself for the reality is, after the Shota Imanaga decision yesterday, I said it, that I think we need 2 guys now. So I'm in agreement with you on that. And Sean, I can just see a world where the Cubs easily just say we signed 1 guy, and then the 5th guy is going to be a roulette of Colin Ray and Javier Assad, and they're going to build it up and maybe even throw Jackson Wiggins' name in there. I could easily see the Cubs doing that. I'm preparing myself for this scenario, but you're 100% right. They should at least bring in 2 guys right now, and if Taillon all of a sudden is your number 5, that's when I start getting really excited about this rotation.
Fangraphs estimates their payroll for $148 million. Even if you sign Cease to around a $30 million a year contract, that's $178 million. The
70 more to
luxury
spend.
Tax threshold is $244 million.
Correct.
That's a lot of money to try to find and fill out with talent. You don't need a first baseman. You have Bush. You don't need a second baseman. You got Horner. You don't need a shortstop. You got Swanson. It seems like Shaw's your 3rd baseman. Maybe you go out and get a catcher, but there really isn't a vibrant catcher market right now. Like, you're going to go out and spend on pitching. So Taillon, maybe he's moved to the pen to eat up innings, and maybe that keeps him healthy to where he's like a fairly valuable postseason arm like Bassett was. out of the pen for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, the other option, right, is like Devin Williams, but they don't pay for relievers, right? So it'd have to be starting pitching, and it's going to be offense. And Sean, you're right. There's tons of money to spend with the Chicago Cubs.
And they're going to spend it. They're going to spend it,
Okay,
man.
okay, all right. I mean, I want them to spend it. I'm just, I don't know if I'm 100% there yet. I'll be honest with you.
You got to talk that way to prevent yourself from crying.
I know. I love manifesting. I'm all about that, man. But it's just like, I want them to blow me away. Like I'm trying to have a reasonable expectation for this Cubs offseason where at the bare minimum, I want a premier slugger. I want a premier pitcher on this team. Yeah. And if they go beyond that, which they should, if they go beyond that and push in, and let's say it's 2 pitchers and a slugger or whatever the combination is, and they blow me away, I'm going to be the first one to clap, pat them on the back and say, all right, let's go. I'm just not going to be, I've just been a Cubs fan too long to be upset if they don't sign 5 guys, but I do think 2 or 3 is a very reasonable expectation. Yeah,
I think, here's the deal. As a Cub fan, you can't tell you how to fan. You fan how you want to fan, right? But, I mean, with the playoffs, we had, 5 playoff games at Wrigley, right? And Hoyer mentioned it. Tom Ricketts was at every single game. I mean, you have to see that momentum, and you have to see the city of Chicago being starved for a championship, right? And I mean, I'm sorry, I don't buy the fact that they're going to go backwards. Like seeing all that, I can't see any, because even a businessman saving money or penny pinching, damn well you make more money by winning and being in the playoffs and winning the World Series. Yep. There's more money out there for that. So, and I can't buy the fact that they had 5 playoff games, saw how Wrigley Field was buzzing, and they're going to go backwards. I think I'm fairly confident they're going to spend that money, and we're all going to be better because of it.
Yeah, I just got a couple minutes here left on the CHGO Cubs podcast, about 3 to be exact. I want to do a little dreaming.
Okay.
I want to do a little Arizona dreaming here.
Yes. Arizona.
Spring training schedule released today.
Yes.
I mean, look, I was like, after the World Series, I was kind of like, oh man, baseball is gone, dude. Like I was starting to feel really bummed about it, but at least they have some games on a calendar that we can start looking forward to right now.
No times though, but just games.
No times, just games, just home games at Sloan Park. You can start making your arrangements, and hopefully we're all gonna be hanging out there at some point. When spring training does come around. But I just want to ask you, you have some family personal memories and nostalgia connected to spring training. So I'd love to hear them as we exit here and think about a warmer tomorrow.
Yes, when I was a little boy, my family of 4, my mom, my dad, me and my sister, we would drive to Arizona every single year for spring training. My mom was scared to fly, so yes, my dad drove us all down to Arizona from Chicago, and it was just the coolest, most amazing vacations I can remember. And this is back in Hohokam Park. It wasn't Sloan Park. It was Hohokam Park. And the players were super accessible. Little Justin was there with getting autographs, and Andre Dawson and Sandberg and Dunston and those guys. And I looked forward to it so much. The only reason we stopped that tradition was because I played baseball. And in high school, spring training and spring break was opening week for my baseball. So we would have been doing that to this day still if I wasn't such a baseball freak. But I love my memories in Arizona, and I want to go back very soon.
Oh, you should. I went a couple years ago for the first time. Okay. I had never been to a spring training my whole life. And for my 40th birthday, I asked my dad. I wanted to go to spring training with my dad. That was my gift to go with my old man.
That's awesome.
So we went, I believe, for 4 days. We saw 4 games. We went to a White Sox game too as well. We checked out their park. Unfortunately, it rained, and it was tough to watch that game. But I will say that, like, the Chicago Cubs experience at Sloan Park,
top notch.
I've
heard
awesome.
Yeah, I heard it's top notch.
It's awesome. The food is fantastic. And for those watching that are living either in the Midwest or in the Chicagoland area that are tuning in, it is a great excuse to get out of Dodge for a couple days and get some vitamin C on you. Mm-hmm. Sit out there on the lawn in the outfield.
The burn, they call it, right? The burn?
Yeah. The food is incredible. The whole experience is really great. They got hotels really close by, so you can either pregame and tailgate, or you can hang out afterwards at a restaurant. Just kind of mix it up with Cubs fans. Yeah. And you know what the best part about spring training is?
What's that?
Is like just like the dumb stuff you do with your buddies, your friends, or my dad or whatever it is, where you just like nudge and you go, he's going to be pretty good this year. Or,
Oh,
you know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Oh, wait, did he lose weight?
Yeah. You're like Bruhan. He's going to be a stud.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Bruhan?
I don't know. He's hitting 400 in spring. Let's pencil him in for 400 bats. And you just have, like, frankly, like the most unrealistic, silly sports conversations because you're just so excited for the game to come back and for the bell to ring and have the games count. And, you know, I 2 years ago when I went, I think Seo was hitting like 470 or something like that in spring, and he hit like a bomb and had 3 hits. One of the games that I went to,
MVP.
Exactly. That's what's so fun about it. You're just like, dude, like, is he gonna hit 50 bombs in the air? And like everyone's like, yeah, he just might do that.
He didn't do it this year, but he's doing it next year. Seo's going to be the MVP hitting 50 bombs next year. You heard it here first.
Mark it down. It's it's such a blast. I'm glad that the schedule is out.
Yeah.
They open up against the White Sox. No other way. Really cool home games there on your schedule. If you get an opportunity, if you're watching this out there in Arizona, highly recommend you go in to check it out. That's going to do it here for the CHGO Cubs podcast. Today's episode presented by Toyota as usual. Want to give a shout out to our producer, Sean Anderson. Shout out to Luke Stuckmeyer in the chat at the Rally Cake Conference, man. Bring us home some good news, my friend. You are a mentor and a scholar. Joey Christopolous, Justin Roman. Luke and Jordan Burnfield will be with you tomorrow, and then we'll be back next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, Cubs fans, always fly the W.
We all silly.